As the lone survivor of a destroyed wolf pack, I lived like a shadow in the forest until the imposing alpha extended his hand, leading me into a new world filled with dangerous promises. The forest had always been my refuge. It shielded me from the cruelties of the world, hiding my brokenness beneath its ancient canopy. After my pack was destroyed by robes, I would live like a shadow, moving unseen, unheard. The world I could known had vanished in the blood and screams of that attack, leaving me as the only survivor of forsaken wolf without a home. When Alpha Wilfredo found me, I didn't trust him. He was tall and imposing, his presence a storm that demanded respect, but his voice held a surprising gentleness. "Eufreda, aren't you?" he asked, his tone kind but firm. I nodded cautiously, my instincts urging me to run, yet something in his eyes stopped me. "Your father was a good man," he continued. "Mumper, I owe him a debt. Let me give you a home." A home. The word felt foreign, almost meaningless after so much loss, but the promise in his voice made me pause. Against my better judgment, I accepted, following him to the Greystone pack. The pack was nothing like the one I'd grown up in. It was bigger, grander, but colder. Alpha Wilfredo treated me like a daughter, always making sure I had what I needed, but his Luna Helen was less welcoming. She watched me with thinly veiled contempt, her disdain simmering just beneath the surface. To her, I was an intruder, an unwelcome reminder of something she refused to name. Despite the tension, I found solace in the company of Wilfredo's sons, Jonas and Willard. Jonas was warm and easygoing, his humor a balm for the ache in my heart, but it was Willard who captured my attention. He was everything I wasn't: confident, charismatic, and utterly captivating. The first time he smiled at me, I felt my walls begin to crack. At first, he was distant, offering polite kindness without real interest, but over time, something changed. He started seeking me out, finding excuses to spend time together. Whether it was training in the clearing or quiet conversations under the stars, Willard made me feel seen in a way I never had before. Shinshin, my guarded heart began to thaw one night beneath the full moon. He found me sitting by the river, my feet skimming the water's surface. "Could ik sleep?" he asked, his voice low and steady. I shook my head, watching as he settled beside me. The silence stretched between us, comfortable and unspoken. "You are different from anyone I've ever met," he said suddenly, his eyes fixed on the rippling water. I glanced at him, my heart stuttering at the vulnerability in his expression. "Entred, is that a good thing?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He turned to me, his gaze holding mine. "Wired is the best thing." In that moment, the world faded. All I could see was him, his sincerity wrapping around me like a warm embrace. For the first time since losing my family, I felt something more than pain. I felt hope. Our bond deepened in the months that followed, hidden from prying eyes. Willard's position as the future Alto, and Helen's watchful gaze made secrecy a necessity. But we didn't care. We stole moments in the shadows, our love growing in defiance of the odds stacked against us. He promised me a future, a life where we could be together openly, without fear. "And pristine," he said, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "I will make you mine," and I believed him. How could I not? He was my light in the darkness, the anchor that kept me from drifting into despair. But promises are fragile things, easily broken. I didn't know then how fleeting our happiness would be, how quickly love could turn to heartbreak. I didn't know that the man I trusted with my heart would be the one to shatter it. Looking back, I wonder if I should have seen the signs, if I should have known that our beginning would lead to a brutal end. But in those early days, all I saw was him, and all I felt was love. Beneath the surface of our stolen moments, forces were already at work to tear us apart, forces I was too blind to see.